All right, Kevin back with you for another episode of the $1 Million Relationships Podcast. And today I am here with Aleric. Aleric, welcome, man. So awesome to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me on here, Kevin. I'm excited. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, same. And I, this is so cool that you and I met a little over a month ago in Austin. We were both attending Giovanni Marsico's Archangel event, and I gotta tell you, I've known Gio for over 12 years, and I remember years ago we were in New York City, him and we went out to dinner one night, and he mapped out what his vision was for Archangel at that time. And I was just so inspired by what he was doing. And I was like, man, I was like, Gio, I want to be a part of this. And, I want to not only be involved, but I want to invest financially in this as well. And it has been just absolutely amazing to watch what he has done over the last 10, 11, 12 years and what has happened with Archangel and what continues to happen. I can tell you, Gio, he's just getting started, man. He is just getting started, and I mean, what when you meet people, and what a powerful testament to what this podcast is all about, which is right relationships. And when you meet under an umbrella like that, through somebody that you just have mutual respect with, pretty much anybody under that umbrella is my kind of people, because that's just who Geo attracts. And that's where you and I met. And we just like immediately hit it off. We were like we've been friends for years, man.
I
and
know.
I'm just looking forward to having this conversation with you. And so what I want to do is I want to stop talking. I want to turn it over to you so we can set a little bit of context so you can talk about, what you do, who you serve, what inspires you most about the work you do and the impact you guys are making, and we can set a little bit of context for the listeners. So let's go ahead and start there, Alary.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be fantastic. I remember,
Yeah.
we hit it off and, we were just like, everybody was, going over to lunch. We were like, "All right, let's just keep talking. This is great." We were in the little like couch area outside the event.
Yep.
Fantastic. And I'm so excited to be on here. Thanks for having me. And yes, just kind of going into what I do. I help businesses, specifically, coaching, consulting, course, education, information-based businesses use the power of YouTube ads to get more consistent, ideal clients. And we do that specifically. I love working with impact-driven entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, people who are like creating an impact, because what we're able to do is help those businesses, and this is our mission as well, amplify their impact and create a positive ripple effect in the world. If we can go and help, somebody who's a coach who's helping people either in their life or their business or in their nutrition or in their, in like their relationships, whatever it happens to be. If we have a coach that goes and creates a positive impact in people's lives or businesses, and we can help them get in front of the people that need that help, that's creating a positive ripple effect. And so we see it as far more than just the numbers and the data and bringing new clients. All that's great. But it's really about helping our clients who are impact-driven businesses increase and grow their impact using the power of video. And that's what I love to do.
So give me an example. You don't have to necessarily name names. You can if you want, if you feel led to, but even if not naming names, give me an example of somebody you were able to help recently and that just really inspired you, and that you were able to just help make a really big impact with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's, it's hard to pick just,
Sure.
one individual, but the person that comes to mind, and I'll use his name because he is just one of the most absolute, like, heart-centered, fantastic people. Jared Ernie, he is really amazing. He's been a client now for several years, but the growth that he's been able to experience has been amazing. But it's not about him. He doesn't make it about him either. He makes it all about, and this is what I love, all about the clients, the people he serves. So his business, he helps local businesses and restaurants, brick and mortar businesses,
Okay.
with their Google reviews, their Google My Business profile. And that, if you're familiar with local business marketing, restaurant marketing, is one of the most important things that these businesses need to get foot traffic in the door, right? Having that, at least a 4.5 to 5 star, Google review profile is essential. We think about it like if we're going and looking like, okay, where do I want to go to eat?
Yeah.
Seeing that 4.5 stars or above, that's like imperative. And so that can make or break these small businesses. And so Jared actually came to us, in 2020, early 2021. His business had faced some challenges because, a lot of the local businesses that he was serving, like they ran into issues. I mean, that was an awful time for local business, as a lot of people know. And so, his business was also struggling. He was, and he knew he could help people. The other businesses, the local businesses that exist, if only they knew he existed. But the things he was doing before to get clients just weren't working the same way. And so he came to us, and he said he's taking a leap of faith. Like he invested, he even said like more money than he really had to be able to do that. And I didn't quite know that at the time. Otherwise, I'd be like, wait a second. But told the story like later on. But he's invested in that, and to have us help him get in front of those local businesses. And within a very short period of time, 4 to 6 weeks, he had already recouped his investment. He had already gotten in front of those local businesses. And then that's when it got fun. We really were able to help him scale and grow and build his business now to over $100,000 a month. And but it's not just about that. Like that created an amazing lifestyle for him.
Sure.
He's been able to, he paid off his mortgages. He bought an RV. He's traveling. Actually, he's settled down now. In the last year, he's now settled down in Atlanta. And now he's focused on the next level of scale for his business. But for about a year and a half, he traveled across the country in an RV with his family, his young kids. They did all kinds of things. They were posting all these updates. It was fantastic. And here's the thing, though. It wasn't about his own individual things for what I'm sharing or him. It was about the impact he could create. He's now helped hundreds of local businesses, restaurants, people that, especially a few years ago, but now as well, like really, it's still, for local businesses, a very, tough environment. He was able to help these local businesses really succeed. And he told me some of the stories, some of the names and some of these different local businesses that he's helped. And that's one of my favorite things is he's talking about that. I've never interacted with those people. Yeah. We'll never meet them, but that ripple effect is true because we're helping him get in front of those local businesses. He then helps them with their Google review profile. That helps that business grow. So it's helping not just Jared, but it's helping the business owner. Then think about the employees of that local business, the community that they serve, and so on and so forth. And it just creates an amazing ripple effect. And our company mission is to empower businesses to amplify their impact and create a positive ripple effect in the world. And one of the things that just made me so incredibly happy and excited was Jared came to one of our events. We have some small, because we're not really an event, we help, we're doing more of the consulting, helping with the marketing, helping set things up. But every quarter we have 20, 30 clients come to our offices here in Austin. And so he came to one of those events, and he was asking some questions around mission. And he said, Aleric, I want to, establish my company mission, and I hope you don't mind, but I think it's really similar to yours. And he was kind of worried that I'd, mind. And I'm like, of course not. What's the mission? And so his mission is now to empower local businesses to, impact more people and create a positive ripple effect in their local communities. And that just, that was one of the most amazing things that I had heard all year, or really ever, because it's adopting. That's what I told him. This is fantastic. This is adopting the mission and the everything that we're looking to do. This is yes, take that as that. You have that be your mission, and that's going out and just continuing. And so it's starting like a movement. And we'll actually talk about Alex Sharfin shortly. But I had a whole conversation. I know you would love this on making movements out of your business. And I was at an event that he put on a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. And we had a whole big conversation about starting a movement. And I think that we've got something there. So anyways, that's just one example of many examples of how you can create a positive ripple effect through the clients that you serve. And that's what we
Yeah.
love to do.
That is powerful, man. Even just you sharing that, I'm like, that just hits so powerful, and that's really what it is all about, and that's what jazzes me too. That's what excites me too. Is I know that I get, because of who I serve and who they are, I get the opportunity to make such a big impact in so many people's lives that we will never meet personally, but yet, because of just the way that we show up, like you shared, we get to have this massive impact. And it's like, man, that is incredibly rewarding and gratifying. And kudos to you. And I love, how you talked about Alex. I know you'll talk more about Alex, but I'll tell you, Alex was one of the early guys that I interviewed for this podcast. In fact, I don't know exactly, he was in the top 10. I know that. And at this point, we've released, I think, over 230 episodes now. And Alex was one of those interviews where after that, I was like, man, I am definitely going to do more of this podcast. It was such an amazing experience for me and for him, that it just really solidified what I was doing here with this and the impact that I wanted to make through this. And here we are almost 3 years later. And man, it has been hands down the most rewarding thing I've done in my 28 years as an entrepreneur hosting this podcast. And so, okay, so now that we've got a little bit of context set, I'm going to reiterate the question for the benefit of our listeners. So, Aleric, have you ever been introduced to a person or persons who completely changed the course of your life or your business, so much so that much of what you have today would not be possible if not for this person or persons? And I'm just really excited to hear your story and your experience around this topic of relationships.
Absolutely. The relationships is such a big area. And there's two people that really come to mind a lot. But of course, there's so many more. So it's hard to narrow it down. Impossible for one person, but hard to narrow it down even to two. And there's a lot more people as well, just because of how impactful relationships are. And I might give some other shout outs here too. But Alex Sharfin is definitely one of them. He has, and I'll talk about two different sides, but one, on the business side, he's really made a massive impact in helping us build out the operational systems of our business, and not just with myself, but also with my COO Julia. Really working closely with us, and we work with him through the Simple Operations program that he had. Now he's since moving on to other business pursuits. Yep. However, things work out the way they're meant to, but I'm so grateful that I was able to go through Simple Operations while he was doing that. He also did private mentorship with me, and I know he's very selective with that type of thing as well. Incredibly grateful. And he really helped us, really overcome some challenges that we had after scaling a lot. Because you see these trophies behind me, Inc. 5,000, 6,000% growth. Great. And what you also don't see behind that is obviously a lot of things break operationally when you scale that much. Also, when you scale that much, because you've grown so much, there's a possibility that you might, go down or have like a dip in a month, a quarter, or even a little bit longer. And we experienced some of that too. And so then what do you do when you're, built up a lot of infrastructure? So there's just like some of these different elements that honestly, he was able to really help us navigate when it comes to both fast growth and then also, post fast growth, how you go to more of like a mature business that can have consistent and more profit-based growth, right? Because there's a lot of, revenue growth. And so there's these different areas that honestly, he really impacted in big ways and really helped support the business that it is today. And I really credit a lot of that to Alex Sharfin. He is fantastic. He's one of the most like kind, heart-centered people. Yep. And, I know you know him as well. He's here in Austin too. He was at the event that we met, and actually is the reason that I went to that event. So in addition to that, not just what he's done to help us, but also, he led to this conversation today because Alex, especially as he was, winding, as he decided to sunset that business, and he's got other exciting things. I'm so excited to see where he's going to go, from here. But as he was doing that, he mentioned, hey, there's this really great mastermind that you should be a part of, the Archangel, mastermind, and with Giovanni and Gio, and who we both know, and I now know, but Alex made the connection to Gio. I had a fantastic call. I could see the big picture vision that he had. Then I went out to that event. I ended up joining that mastermind. That's where we met. Now I'm going to be speaking at his Archangel Summit in Toronto with like 2,000 people. And it's just amazing. Like, those different, you can see how those connections, you get a connection to somebody, and you just be your authentic self. And especially if you're listening here, there's either you're already embracing this, or there's a part of you that's excited about creating that big impact. And so just embracing that. And that's the type of conversation that I had with, of course, initially with Alex, but then with Gio, and, that led to opportunities to be a part of his mastermind and to speak on his stages. And then in the conversation that we had, it's leading to this, and I'm excited. I know you connect with other people too. So I'm excited to see, the people that you're able to, connect with as well. And then it also leads to like, hey, how can I support you? And it just creates these types of conversations to say like, how can we help each other? How can we support each other? We're all here with the common mission to create and grow a bigger impact. And the best way to do that is together. The best is a win, win, win. And that's one of my favorite things.
I love that, because you're right. We can accomplish so much more together with like-minded people than we could ever hope to achieve on our own. And when we are surrounded by like-minded people who share core values, it is amazing how quickly, but yet also in just complete flow, things happen. And that's not to say that we don't have growing pains along the way and all that, because that's just part of being an entrepreneur. We wouldn't have it any other way. That's how we grow as a person too. And but I'll tell you, it has been so incredibly rewarding to be surrounded by so many amazing entrepreneurs who, like I said, that we have shared core values. I mean, Gio, Al, I mean, all these people. I mean, it's been a game changer all these years. And so I know you mentioned you've got some other people you want to honor too. I want to make sure we give you time to do that. So
absolutely. So So in terms of other, the other big person that I was really thinking of was is Roland Frazier as well. Okay. He is absolutely a fantastic person, one of the sharpest business minds, and he, I got connected to him, back in, I think it was. Well, actually, no, I think it was either 2021, early 2021. Okay. And initially I signed up to do some private consulting with him. And, and I was like looking to acquire a, business, and he shared actually the importance and the value of connecting with your network and seeing where there's opportunities to potentially make an investment. And I actually got a deal under LOI. We almost, closed on a deal for a software, and that ended up falling through at the last minute, but things happen for a reason. I brought that back to him, and he said, well, he obviously shared how I could go and potentially pursue another business, but I also shared that I had kind of gone to most of the main people in that category, and I had so many ideas for how to make the software better. He said, well, why not talk to some of the software people that you know? And so I had a great conversation with Dave Rogenmoser, who created Jasper AI. He also had Proof. I've been a long-term user of Proof. Known Dave and Austin Distel, who was his like marketing director, earlier on as he was scaling like for a while. And so his office actually used to be very close to our office here in downtown Austin.
Okay.
And I remember asking him about like building out, software, and he actually gave some great advice and also made an introduction to Greg Kapilitsov, who is now our CTO and co-founder and partner with me in my software company, Keyword Search, that keywordsearch.com, that does AI ad targeting for YouTube and Google ads. And
Okay.
we just built that. So instead of acquiring a company, it ended up being, a partnership here. But you can see how the different connections are. I get connected, I get connected to Roland, and then Roland, tells me to go tap my network here, and then he makes connections, and also another person Roland connected me with was Kamal Ravikant, who has a fantastic investment fund that I'm now, an investor in. And there's like, and then I learned about the whole world of Silicon Valley and venture capital and, things like that. And he's a fantastic person, and it's just to talk with him, like to hear how he thinks about. And so you can see all these connections. And but then, with the software side, now we've created keyword search, which does the ad targeting. So people just kind of describe their business, click generate. It gets all the different targeting options for YouTube and Google ads, everything people are searching for on Google, YouTube, just choose which ones you want. And now it's like a one-click sync to Google ads. And that software, is now worth millions of dollars. And we're continuing to grow it. And that software, again, and you can also see how it's not always a direct line, but there's different connections and different people that impact in different ways to actually lead to something like that. And there's many more people that were involved in that, and especially in ad outreach, that I don't have as much time to, mention right here, but there's a lot of people along the way. And the best way is by having amazing relationships, connections. Another person that talks about this I know we both know as well, as Charles Bird. He talks about, he does a lot of joint ventures and connections and things like that. And seeing how can it be a win-win-win. Now he focuses on the win-win-win of like, hey, let's line up a JV, let's build like more of a business. And I think there's a ton, like so much to that. And there's also a lot to just creating relationships. And I think that combination is really good too. And so Charles also connected me with a lot of amazing people as well. And so I think any conversation about connections, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that, because, again, you could come across, and I know that you're also the same way as well. And I'm excited and also to see how I can help you. But I know you're a super connector. You're known for that. Charles is known for that. Also, David Gonzalez out here in Austin, who runs Internet Marketing Party, is known for that. And I would also encourage anybody who is, watching or listening to this to find the super connector in your world, see how you can help and support them. And then, and who you can connect them with, because if they're a super connector, they love to connect with people. And odds are they have somebody that to connect with, with you. And that's just really a powerful thing. So it's not just super connectors, all kinds of people connect, but that's also been really powerful is getting to know people that know a lot of people.
Yeah. Yes, man, it's amazing. You and I just met, and yet we have so many mutual friends and stuff. And it's interesting because you talked about Roland, and I've really started moving in the direction of it's interesting because yes, I do get to facilitate some amazing relationships that impact millions of people, but really what I view myself as is I am this conduit of trust for the entrepreneurs that I serve. And I always want to just show up that way. Travis Sago accuses me of, he's like, Kevin, he's like, you are more protective than an old mother hen with her chicks of all the relationships that you have in your life, And it's because it's like, I just want to help further the relationship that I already have with folks. And I'm always focused on that. And, you brought up Roland, and, I held my very first ever event for a small group of entrepreneurs. 15 entrepreneurs flew in for that. Actually, right here on the other side of this wall in my living room, and it was in August of 2017. And after that, I was talking with Roland about the experience and stuff, and he's like, Kevin, he's like, what you're doing is something so unique that nobody else is doing. And he's like, man, he's like, you keep moving forward with this. And just that vote of confidence from Roland meant so much to me at that time, because I was still wet behind the ears. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I didn't have the clarity that I have today. And I certainly didn't have the confidence because of having already had all this experience under my belt. I had a little bit, but having that vote of confidence from Roland just made all the difference. And Charles, yeah, I mean, man, who couldn't love Charles? You know, I mean, that guy, he's like this big teddy bear, is Charles. You know, and he loves making connections for people. You know, and what I just, Alec, I really appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation today and just to share from your heart, because what a testament to the power of relationships. And for anybody that's listening to this going, man, Kev, I really like Alec. I love the way he shows up. And they, some of them I'm sure want to find out more about what you guys are doing. What's the best way for them to do that? Any websites, any resources that we can include with
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And of course, I'm, on all the different social media platforms, but I got a gift I'd love to give everybody as well. And YouTube's also a great place to follow. I post tons of value-based content. I love like leading with value first. I have over 1,000 videos now on the YouTube channel. It's Aleric Heck. And you can just look that up on YouTube. But I also have a gift for everybody as well. So I put together a 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF. It walks through the strategy we've used to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for our clients. 19-page PDF, step by step. You can go to adoutreach.com/gift. That's ADOUTREACH.com/GIFT, adoutreach.com/gift. You can download the PDF. And it'll also have an invite to hop on a call with one of our team members if you'd like as well, to have us help take a look, either if you're already doing ads or not doing ads, and help map out a game plan and strategy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Well, Alec, any last thing you feel compelled to share before we call it a wrap?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely so much opportunity in connections. And I think one thing that we talked about briefly, I'll leave is a really good, valuable note for the people who are listening or watching, is I think that connections, meeting people in person at events, meeting people virtually through Zoom, getting connected with others, that's the top form of meeting new people, expanding your network, getting your ideas out there, speaking from stage, going and connecting with people at an event, or getting connected to somebody through someone in a referral and introduction. And I would say the second best thing after all of that is video. If you're looking to get out at people at scale, whether it be an organic YouTube video or a YouTube ad targeted in front of the right people, whatever it happens to be, the power of video, it is that way to deeply connect with your ideal audience and convey a message and concept and who you are and what you're looking to do. And so I really just want to encourage everybody, there's so much. Definitely go out and, build the connections, go to events, go speak at events. And if you have the ability, create, which I believe everybody does have the ability. So I probably shouldn't even say that. So just go out and start creating videos, because it is such a great way to connect with even more people and amplify your impact.
Awesome. Well, Aleric, I want to thank you again for taking the time to have this conversation. I really appreciate it. I am stoked to get this out there and share it with a lot of other entrepreneurs, because I know how powerful this is going to be. And so thank you again. Really appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate you as well. Thank you.
You bet.